Hi, Bill. Have you got a copy or do you need me to send it to you?
I'm fine.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I sent you a message, but it was a bit late.
No, that's
So
fine. I need your email, but I
it's
can
fine.
send it now, but it'll be too late.
I've downloaded it already. It's fine.
Okay, cool. There may be a couple of slight differences, but it'll only be.
I'll just follow along. It's okay.
But the main thing is. Hi, Koshin. As you might be able to tell, I've got a new webcam, and I'm using it. Yeah. The picture is better because I'm not orange, which is a very good thing.
You're not orange anymore.
But I've yet to check out how the microphone works, so it's fine here. But I'll have to go back with. Is it not so good?
I mean, it is, but it sort of cuts off every now and then. I guess it might be some setting of the computer or Zoom maybe, or a bit too loud, or
That's fine because I can go to Zoom. I'll change it. Right, let's try. Is this one better?
Talk a little more.
It's what? It's worse.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good.
This one's better. Or is there no difference?
I think so. Yeah. It's no. You sound a bit. I mean, it depends because I'm listening on the speakers and it sounds good now.
Okay. Well, Bill was saying it wasn't so good. Because, yeah, when I step back, what I'll have to do is get a microphone so I can drag it to where I'm sat. I can't do that now, but I'll have to.
It sounds really good. It sounds really good here.
Okay. This is what I used last time, and it seemed to record okay, even from when I was sat back a few paces. So.
No, it sounds cool. Perfect. It sounds really good.
Okay. Well, I hope it's going to be equally as good for everyone. So thank you for those of you who've turned up so far, and we'll just wait a few minutes to see if there's anyone else. Whereabouts are you? Where are you, Bill? Or is it Seikai? I think you're still muted.
Okay, right, I'm in Oregon.
Okay, so you're about 9 o'clock?
Exactly, right.
There we go. I'm starting to get a hang of this global time zone thing.
You're good.
But it's trying to work out when we have meetings and rituals like this, kind of a way that will incorporate as many zones as you can, but it's at some point we normally end up kind of cutting off Central Asia because that's probably where we've got fewest members, and then yeah.
In general, time 6-7 p.m. here in Europe, it's a good time because everyone's sort of during daytime right now.
Right, that's what I figured. So
I mean, listen, Koku, if this was happening at 10 o'clock in the morning here in Europe, I would not be here.
Okay.
Because I'm doing the live Zazenkai, so I go to bed at like 4 o'clock in the morning, 4:30 in the morning. And last night I was really awake. Like I don't remember ever being awake during Zazenkai at 4 o'clock in the morning.
It was a Nehane.
Like you're so awake. I have no idea.
Was it the Nehane ceremony last night? Nice.
Yes.
Good. I'm looking forward to sitting that. Koshin, whereabouts are you?
I'm in Mexico City.
Of course you are. Yeah, you messaged me.
Mm-hmm.
Fantastic. Presumably you've met our friend Kionin.
Yeah.
Good.
Kionin.
I know. He's famous. He's famous monk in Mexico now.
Yeah.
Listen, I once Googled something. I don't remember what it was, and I Googled something, and pictures of Kionin popped up on Google.
That's amazing.
I
But it's
know.
brilliant.
Like,
Though.
she was
Maybe
like,
you could access it in Spanish.
Yeah.
Hi,
he
Inshin.
was like super zenny in the pictures. I mean, it was awesome.
Wow, hi, Risho. Wonderful. I was just saying to everyone that I'm not sure about the microphone, but when I step backwards a couple of paces when I start, so just let me know if you can't hear me at all.
Step back a couple of paces now and try
I
it.
will do. I'll just see. Hi, Shokai. At least I think it's Shokai. Silhouette of Shokai.
It is.
Right, okay, well, I shall step backwards. I kind of come from the Jundo school of Zen grace when it comes to moving. Right, can you hear me from here? Okay, cool. Well, just wait a couple of minutes for everyone to arrive. I seem to have mislaid my ceremony. So,
Do you want a copy?
yeah, thanks for that.
Give me your email and I'll send you a copy. You got it on paper.
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to read the screen at this distance.
I've completely mastered that because I get my phone and I do this. Sound cool?
It's a good thing to do.
Oh, Hoseki.
I'll just give you all a couple more minutes, or not you all, but anyone else. We just want to sit for the time being. Okay, I think we'll begin. So, thank you all for joining me, whatever time zone you're in, morning, afternoon, evening. And this is the second of our Treeleaf full moon Ryaku Fusatsu ceremonies. And as you might have read in the ceremony guide or the ceremony words, this is a really old and traditional ceremony. The form that we do here, as you'd expect, is Japanese and Soto Zen, but it can be traced back to the time of the Buddha, when the Sangha would get together on nights of the full moon and the new moon, and they'd sit and they'd recite the Pratimaksha vows. And at that time, there was around 270 rules, training rules, I think 273. And when it got to Mahayana Buddhism, they reduce the number of rules and instead emphasize the spirit of the rules rather than the letters, because there were just a ridiculous number of rules and nobody could keep track of all of them. So we cut them down to the 16 precepts, which is what we recite instead. And I think if you follow those with a good heart, a sincere heart, you're essentially including the 273 training rules and probably a whole lot more as well that they hadn't thought of. So this is what they did when they came together at those 2 phases of the moon. And it was a kind of confession as well, not a confession like you have in Catholicism where you'd say what individual thing you've done. But it was a time to look back on the last couple of weeks or 4 weeks of practice and see how much you had committed to it, how much you've kind of shirked a bit, how much full-heartedness you put in your practice, and you just reflect on that and then retake the Pratimoksha rules, or as we do it, the 16 vows or the 16 precepts. And although in the Soto tradition, you all know that Shikantaza Zazen is the central point of practice around everything, around which everything else pivots. But I think those of you who were here last month will know, and those of you who attend the Zazenkai and other ritual occasions at Treeleaf, Rohats and Jukai, will know that these kind of ceremonies, they're there as kind of support structs. They're not 100% necessary, but I really think that coming together as a Sangha and engaging in these kind of ceremonies is just a really lovely thing to do. They're a reminder of why we practice and a reminder of the beauty of Sangha and the fact we're all together practicing the same thing. We're all there to support each other. I don't know about any of you, but I have practiced on my own, and it's not impossible, but I found it a lot harder without other people to talk with and just relate to. And just the fact knowing that you're sitting with other people, I just find is hugely rewarding and supportive of my own practice. So anyway, this is why we have ceremonies like this, and why ceremonies like this have lasted 2,500 years. If people didn't find value in them, they would probably have disappeared. So with that initial bit over, we'll start with the ceremony proper. And as normal, we'll begin with offering incense. We begin with 3 bells, and we don't bow yet. I'll bow before I offer the incense, and then after that, we'll make prostrations or standing bows or whatever you can physically do. So, begin with 3 bells. Have hands in Gasho? Yeah, that's you're doing it anyway. Now we make 3 prostrations along with the bell. Next, we recite the verse of atonement. As I said, part of this ceremony is a kind of reflection, confession, and atonement. And because this is such an important part of this ritual, we recite it 3 times instead of our normal one. So if you just follow along with me, keep the mics muted because otherwise the chants tend to get a bit out of sync. But yeah, if you just chant along with me. All harmful words, thoughts, and acts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful acts, words, and thoughts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. All harmful words, thoughts, and acts ever committed by me since of old, on account of beginningless greed, anger, and ignorance, born of my body, mouth, and mind, now I atone for them all. Now we invoke the presence of the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas as symbols of the awakened mind and pure practice of the precepts. So again, we begin with 3 bells, hands in gasho, and then I will bell before the homage to Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. And please recite along with me. Homage to the 7 Buddhas of the past as symbols of our connection through time. Homage to Shakyamuni Buddha, a person of this earth. Homage to Miroku Buddha, symbol of hope for the future. Homage to Monju Bodhisattva, symbol of great wisdom. Homage to Fugen Bodhisattva, symbol of great activity. Homage to Kanzeon Bodhisattva, symbol of great compassion. Homage to the successive generations of ancestor Bodhisattvas. And having done that, we all recite the Bodhisattva vows 3 times, as we normally do. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless, to transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible, to perceive reality, though reality is boundless, to attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable, To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless. To transform all delusions, though delusions inexhaustible. To perceive reality, though reality is boundless. To attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable. To save all sentient beings, though beings numberless. To transform all delusion, though delusion inexhaustible. To perceive reality, though reality is boundless. To attain the enlightened way, a way non-attainable. Before we recommit to the precepts, having reflected symbolically on the past month of practice and our conduct in life, having called upon the Bodhisattvas and Buddhas and chanted the 4 Bodhisattva vows, we make a symbolic water purification by hopefully you've all got a bowl of water and a leaf. If you haven't got the leaf's not so critical, but all we do is we take water from the bowl on either a leaf or on our fingers, and we just sprinkle ourselves 3 times. It's a purely symbolic act, but as John Dido Laurie Roshi once said, ritual, the whole point of ritual, is putting the unseeable into a visible form. And this is what we're doing here. We're taking a wish to be purified and then recommit to the precepts. We do it all in our heart, but we're giving it a visible form so that we can come together as a community. Also, we know how human minds work. And the two, what we do in our heart and what we do physically and visibly, join together. So if you just want to get the leaf or your fingers, pop it in the water and just sprinkle yourself 3 times. As I said last time, if we were in a physical temple, you'd all be lining up in front of me and I'd be flicking them all with water. So you can be glad to have your own control over that. If you've had a particularly bad month, you can add more water. It's not for me to judge, really. But so after that, what's traditionally done in East Asian Buddhism is to recite from the Brahmajala Sutra, which is the sutra which is used in all those East Asian traditions, China and Japan, to talk about the precepts and good conduct. So I will say the first sentence, and then you'll see on the sheet where it says, put your hands in gashos. We all just sit in normal Zazen posture, or Zazen posture for the first sentence, and then after that, hands in Zazen. Okay. All you disciples of the Buddha, join your palms in reverence and listen wholeheartedly. I would now like to articulate the preface to the great precepts of the Buddhas. If the members of the assembly will quietly listen, and they know that they have done wrong, they will atone. If they atone, then they will be at ease. If they do not repent, their wrongdoing will grow more grievous. Those who have done wrong are silent, and because of their silence, You should know that they are all purified. Worthy monks, laymen, laywomen, and the rest, listen well. In this difficult age, when the lifetime of the Buddha sometimes seems distant, you should revere the Pratimoksha. The Pratimoksha is none other than these precepts. When you observe these precepts, it is like darkness meeting with light. It is like someone poor attaining a treasure. It is like someone who is ill being healed. It is like a prisoner being released from his chains. It is like a traveler who is able to return home. You should know that these rules are the great teacher for this assembly of people, no different from the presence of the Buddha in the world here and now. Thoughts of fear are difficult to produce. Unwholesome thoughts are difficult to give rise to. Therefore, Sutra says, do not trivialize minor misdeeds as if they are not problematic. Drops of water, although tiny, will gradually fill a large basin. A single instant of wrongdoing can lead you to fall into a hell of uninterrupted suffering. Once you lose your human body, you may not get another one for 10,000 kalpas. Just as a galloping horse passes by swiftly, one's physical strength will not remain. The transience of human life goes beyond the mountains and seas. Even if something remains for the duration of one day, it will be quite difficult to hold on to it tomorrow. Members of the assembly should each energetically advance their own minds. Be careful not to be lazy, negligent, drowsy, or arbitrary. In the evening, you must gather your thoughts and focus them firmly on the three treasures. Do not take as being a waste of time the effort to deepen your repentance for those of later generations. Members of the assembly, each of you in your own minds should carefully rely on these precepts. Discipline yourselves in the practices that accord with the Buddha's teachings. So now we go into reminding ourselves and recommitting to the 16 fundamental precepts of the Soto Zen tradition, beginning with the 3 refuges. And you can all recite along with me. Respectful devotion to Buddha, respectful devotion to Dharma, respectful devotion to Sangha. Devotion to Buddha, the Supreme One. Devotion to Dharma, the supreme purity and teaching. Devotion to Sangha, the supreme community. Perfect devotion to Buddha. Perfect devotion to Dharma. Perfect devotion to Sangha. And we continue with the 3 pure precepts. Today I reaffirm my commitment to seek as I can in this body and life to avoid doing harm. To seek as I can in this body and life to live in a healthful and helping way, doing good. To seek as I can in this body and life to live for the benefit of all sentient beings. And we carry on with the 10 fundamental precepts. Today, I reaffirm my commitment to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from the killing of life, to seek as I can in this body and life to live in generosity and refrain from taking that which is not given, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from misusing sexuality and all desire, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from false and malicious speech, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from intoxication in its many forms, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from unconstructively criticizing the errors and faults of others, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from praising oneself and judging others, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from stinginess in bestowing the Buddhist teachings and all precious things, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from all anger, to seek as I can in this body and life to refrain from disparaging the 3 treasures, Buddha, Dharma, Sangha. Now just keep your hands in Gassho while I recite. Abiding in this ephemeral world, may we exist in muddy water, with purity like a lotus. Nothing escapes the boundless mind. Thus we bow to Buddha. And we end with our normal, or very similar to normal dedication. Buddha nature pervades the whole universe, reality existing right here now. In reaffirming our commitments to the precepts, we dedicate our sincere efforts to Shakyamuni Buddha, honored one, the historical Buddha and teacher, to the all-pervading and everlasting three treasures, to all arhats and bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, and their relations throughout the Dharma world. May our sincere vows to accomplish and live the enlightened way be realized together. And we all recite the final part together. All Buddhas throughout space and time, all bodhisattvas, mahasattvas, maha, prajna, paramita. So there we go. That's the end of the ceremony. I must apologize. I forgot. Those of you who were here last time will remember we did a period of Zazen near the beginning, and I did forget that today. So my apologies. That will be reinstated next time. But thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your presence and your practice. So enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much. And I'll see you and sit with you soon, hopefully.